Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and away in the Grove, eyebrows and all, the big sexy, bringing it to you, baby. Come on now, Jesse Martineau, everybody.
Welcome
Come on
back,
now.
everybody, to the podcast. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Well, you know, it's going very well because my Raiders.
Yeah,
the
because
last
you
time we
got
talked,
points this week, and they decided, instead of scoring, splitting those points up between 2 weeks, let's just put it all in 1 week. What the hell is going on over
for
there?
the year. Oh my God, you're making me choke here. For the entire year, let's just tally up the points for the entire year in one game.
Jeez.
And you know, when you see that, you say to yourself, that's where you get frustrated. When you're a Raiders fan, this is the disease you live with, man. You live with this when you see them do that. And then they do that. Like, this team literally should be in the playoffs, like at the very bottom of the playoffs, because if you see what they have the potential. And then the next week, and then you look at Denver this week too. Like, Denver's killing it. Now they actually look like Denver this week. They got murdered, right?
Yeah.
And this is the weirdest football season. Literally the Chiefs are 8-5.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Everything's weird. So I don't know, man. It's like, I'm excited to see what happens at the end here. You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting to see, but at the same time, this is our final show of the year, which I'm super excited about. 2023 was fantastic. We had so many fantastic guests on the show. We had great people from the NFL, NHL. I'm not gonna lie. I have my favorite guests.
Right.
I do.
Right.
But I do enjoy the crazy ones. So, we have the NFL, NHL, UFC, all these guests on, but then we have a group that I call them the crazy group. And the crazy group consists of Laval Saint Germain.
Yeah.
You know who else?
Nick
these other guys.
Pelletier.
Nick is definitely, he's 1B. Okay.
Yeah.
So Laval is 1A, he's 1B. And then you have, a bunch of other guys that we've had on that are they just do crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan. Like, I love the NHL guys. I love the Kelly Rudies. I love the Brusks. I love George Larocques. I love all these guys. But the category of the crazies that we have on the show,
Yeah.
I relate to them the best.
Well, yeah, I think you do. I think
I do.
You're cut from the same cloth. When God was out there handing out, genes or whatever, you were in there. He pulled you guys from the same bowl.
I'm just like Nick. You know what Nick did? Sleep for 3 days. I was losing my mind. I was following on the tracker. I mean, it was bananas. Like, I could not believe he swam the length of the Okanagan Lake.
Yeah,
103 kilometers. I mean, think about it, bro. 103. He swam to Leduc and back.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
I know.
man. That's bananas.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is. You're right. It is bananas. It's wild how they do that kind of stuff and how people just go for it. And he did it. And that one was crazy because we were so invested in watching, and everyone's watching. The kids are watching. Like, everybody's watching all the time because it's in today's world with tracking everything, and it takes a few days. You can watch the whole thing unfold, and as it kept going closer and closer and closer, it's actually probably better that it took what it did versus what he wanted to do in 40 hours. The fact that it took like 75 hours, almost twice as long that he thought, it actually got way more support, and actually at the end of the day too raised a ton of money for mental health association across Canada and in the Kelowna chapter specifically. But it was an amazing thing this summer to watch, and it was really cool to be a part of.
To say that it affected me would be an understatement.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I couldn't sleep because it was bothering me, because I saw videos of him like hallucinating. I saw videos of like he didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
I was like, he's gonna stop. And I was channeling my inner madness to him, because when he was on the show, I told him, Jesse, I said, the little green monster that I'm very familiar with, okay? And I've been familiar with the little green monster when I started hiking. And see, you know what the funny part is? I can talk like this because I've never been a great athlete, okay? I've never even been a good athlete. But what I have been is I've been relentless in life. And one thing I've taught many people as I train people in the UFC and other things like that, I don't just talk that game. I actually can do it.
Right.
So, but you understand, we talk ourselves into doing these things.
Sure.
So example, when I started Everest in Edmonton with my dear friend Sean Obrowski, when we said the goal was 45.5 kilometers in the middle of winter time at minus 30, you think to yourself, oh, that sounds beyond ridiculous to do that. But you know what the crazy part was? There was nothing crazy about it, because once we prepared and got ready and prepared, and I reached out to Laval Saint Germain, the only guy from Canada to climb Mount Everest with no oxygen. Imagine having this guy as to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is like, you couldn't buy this. You couldn't get that kind of help from people. You got the guy that went up Mount Everest with no oxygen.
Yeah.
So this is my point. We have had guests on this show that have moved me to parts unknown. Okay. Do you remember on this show, we had Matt Brown, the illustrious, immortal Matt Brown on the show, and he went into great detail about his drug addiction that I'm pretty sure I've never heard that about him ever in a million years. And I was like, my jaw dropped, and then I couldn't sleep for a few days after, because I was like, he's not there now, but it was weird because something about that really got my brain shifted in a different direction. When we had Kelly Rudy on the show, it was the same thing. Kelly talked about mental illness from a space that I didn't hear it be told like that before.
Well, he hadn't actually talked about it before publicly, really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, he had. He said he did. This is the first time he really opened up about it. And since then, he's actually opened up a lot about it.
Yeah, and that's what really got me about Kelly, because I was like, I've never heard Kelly say that before, ever. And then when he talked about it, he was actually comfortable talking about mental illness, which is very difficult. Yeah. So you understand what I just said? Like, he was comfortable talking about mental illness, and it was weird. What's funny? You're like that too. Like you suffer from depression, and you suffer from all these things. And it's funny though, because you're so in tune with it that you can talk about it naturally. Yeah. And most people can't talk about it naturally. Like they struggle immensely. So to have these guests on the show, over and over, and it's like, people say that all the time, because our goal on the Me and Jesse podcast is always to bring a different guest almost every week. We have you can check, the YouTube channel anytime you like, and you'll see that the most I think anybody's ever appeared on the show is 3 times in 2 years. And it was Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor.
Was he on 3? Was that his 3rd time last week?
I think it was just, and you might even have to check. I think it was maybe his 2nd or 3rd time.
I think it was only his 2nd, but maybe
and
not.
I think Sam Alvey's been on 2 times, maybe 3. And Robin Black's been on 2 maybe times. 2 times too, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. So you go watch all these other podcasts in the world, right? And I'm not going to say their names on this show ever. I'll cut my tongue out before I do that. But what I am saying is that on other podcasts, you'll see the same guy. This podcast, it's not like that. We even changed, if you watch the show, we've actually changed the kind of the protocol of how we do things, because we'll do a guest one week and not the next, and then we'll do a guest the next week and then not the next, and the flow of the show becomes different now, and the guest becomes better. So this is what I'm looking forward to in 2024. I mean, it's incredible to have sponsors like Crystal Glass and Backcap. And what's funny? We've been very careful of who we get as sponsors, because we believe in these companies and these products. We're not going to have certain people to be sponsors or advertisers on our podcast. We're just not going to have it. And that's on purpose, everybody. So people go, you should get the, this or that, and I'm like, nah, that's not who we are, man. It's like, we're very careful on who we're doing stuff with. And the reason is because Jesse and I have a great deal of passion and obsession for this podcast, that we are not going to allow ourselves to go down that train. It's funny. We did one about mental health for 4 years prior to this one. Did. And it was funny because my son was the one that said, hey, you guys should do sports because you guys would kill in sports. And we did it in sports and it blew up. And you know what's funny? I still say to myself, we're at the infancy stage of the podcast world. Now, everybody and their mother tells me they're going to start a podcast. Everybody I bump into has got a podcast. Right. What I'm telling you is this. You have no idea what it's like to deal with Jesse and I. And what I mean by that is there's an underlining thing in both of our DNA that I know about Jesse Martineau, and I can speak for him. We have this kind of weird relentlessness. We can be lazy at times, but we have this thing in our brain that says it's a, how can I say it without being,
I'll
no,
say
you
it.
can't.
Just say it.
It's like a fuck you. It's like a fuck you, man. Like it's like that's what's in my brain. I was talking.
Again, it's like
Yeah.
if someone says like we were playing golf this year at your place, in your backyard, and people are complimenting me for playing well, and I had a boot on because I tore my friggin' tendon in my foot, and I'm like, don't compliment me. Tell me I can't do this.
Yeah.
And watch what happens.
Yeah, because even the golf pro that was playing in it that you took out, he said Jesse beat the golf pro at the actual tournament, and what happened was he was wearing a boot on his shoe, but everybody kept saying, "Hey, you're really good. Like, why don't you do more? Like, why don't you play more or whatever?" And Jesse's like, whatever. He's a Svengali. Jesse's a Svengali, and I've always known that about him. That's my attraction to Jesse, is that he's never going to say I'm a genius and I'm so smart and I'm so this. He's never going to talk like that. But I've always loved talking like that about you,
right?
Because
I let other people do it.
Yes, correct. And you don't have to say anything. And it's like, yeah, but it's funny. You're finally being rewarded for it in all aspects of your life, in my opinion, whether it be financially, whether it be, like you're on a different chain, a different plane now, relationships wise and things like that. And I think, most people have told me you've never looked happier. You've never looked healthier. You've never looked better. Like if I haven't, I've heard that, I'm not even exaggerating, at least 2 to 3 times a day for the last month and a half.
Jeez.
Yeah, like people on social media will tell me, "Hey, Jesse looks awesome, man." I'm like, yeah. Like it's this weird, but it's funny because people didn't do that before. It's just the last month and a half people have mentioned that.
You turn the corner, and there you go. And again, like you said, we talked about mental health for 4 years before we started the podcast. The sports one, like 3 years ago, almost.
This will be going into our 3rd year now,
or 4th year, or 3rd year.
3rd year.
Okay.
Third year.
But yeah, we talked about a lot of things, but mental health was a big part of it for a long time, and obviously that weighs on you in more ways than you really know. Obviously, like there's an internal thing, but it does present externally as well. Does that make sense? Like it does show on people, even if like you can keep it all in, and yeah, they might not have any idea of the severity that's going on inside, but it will present like physically around to people around you, and you don't even know, and then they don't even know too, and all of a sudden they say, "Why do you look so different?" And physically nothing might have changed, but internally a lot changed, and it shows on the outside. It's really quite interesting how that all works together, but it's true. It's totally true. And let's bring sports back into it with sports psychology. You look at guys or teams, as much as I hate to say it, the Edmonton Oilers that, were ass for the first part of the season, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and then they turn it around, and then they rattle off 8 wins in a row, I think it was.
That's right.
And it looks different. There's something different that's going on, but it's also, that was psychological. There was a lot of psychological things that had to happen.
But I've always thought that about sports psychiatry. I think it's bullshit. I've always said that sports psychiatry itself.
In what way, though?
But I'll tell you why. Because when you're getting punched in the face, say as a boxer or MMA fighter, because everybody's got sports psychiatrists now, right? I don't think they understand that the psychiatry of getting punched in the face or getting choked out unconscious, but you're not unconscious, but you let yourself go unconscious. And then there's the other guys that stop themselves from getting unconscious and break the move and go onward, right? You have to be, in my opinion.
But that is psychological, isn't it?
But yes, but this is my point. My point is that I only want it coming from people that have been in the NHL talking to hockey people. I only want it from MMA people that are, you know what I'm saying?
I guess there is an aspect of that's true, but I guess my counter would be, well, the brain is the brain, and whether you're shooting a puck or punching someone in the face, psychologically, there would be a bigger issue there that could.
Yeah, I don't mean it's bullshit. I don't mean it's bullshit. I think that the idea of it's fantastic. I just think that
People have turned it into a business more so.
Yes, yeah, and that's my problem. See, my problem is that the doctor field said, "Oh yeah, I'm a sports psychiatrist now, right? And I'm going to talk to athletes, and it's going to be awesome." And I'm like, "Yeah, great." I would rather hear from Kelly Rudy talking to hockey players about mental illness, and that makes sense to me. He could do it individually to people, and then be like, "Yeah, I get it, and yes, and I can relate to this, and I can do these things." I think that every sport is so different.
Sure.
Dealing with an athlete than just saying, "Oh, I'm a sports psychiatrist for any athlete that's alive." I don't think that's the case, in my opinion. I think you have to be specific for the sport.
Interesting. I haven't thought about it that way. I guess there would be things that would definitely they would have more experience with.
I was technically an MMA psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Because people came to me not because I could punch, kick, or knee people better or show them better ground games. 90% of the people I trained, managed, and brought to the UFC, it was all mental. It was not
technical.
Technical. There was technical stuff,
right, of course,
but majority of it was mental, and I prove that every day.
All those champions that we've had on the show have all said that too.
Yes.
All those champions have said, yeah, there's technical, obviously, there's skill, there's talent, there's technical ability, but there's a psychological part that you can't fake. You can't just rely on your talent to get you there. You actually have to believe something about yourself and that you can be a champion to be a champion.
But it's funny. Now that I golf again, right? So I started golfing, and I'm taking it very serious. It's my little thing in my life where I said, before it's all said, before I die one day, people are going to go, "He was a great guy. He was this great father, great husband, and he was a really good golfer." And the reason why is, but what's funny? When I have two guys I golf with. They're both doctors, and they're my main golfing partners. And what's funny? They said, "Mark, did you realize that you talk to yourself when you golf?" And I said, "Yes, I do."
Yeah,
and they're like, I thought they thought maybe I was crazy, and I didn't know I was doing that. And I do that all the time. Like, I'll get on the tee box and I'll be like, "Stay over top of the ball longer." Like I'll announce those things out loud. And if you don't know me, you think this guy's absolutely nuts, because it's like I'm talking to myself. And I was practicing putting the other day in my office. I have the Dustin Johnson putting machine, and the hole's really small. It's like the size of the actual golf ball, and I've made like 10 in a row now from that distance, which is quite advanced. And so my wife's like, "You're talking to yourself." I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm telling myself, because I'm doing all these little check things in my brain, but I'm reminding myself out loud about those things." And then I ask my playing partners, I go, "Does that bother you?" They go, "No, we find it quite entertaining." And they're writing down what I'm saying because they're using it for themselves. But I'm saying is that's been almost my forte in life, that I can study things, look at what people are doing sport wise, and I can kind of replicate that, whether it be boxing or golf or, MMA. And those are the time. That's what I've done my whole life. But technically, I'm not a good athlete in anything.
Yeah, I think there's a psychological part that is. And again, I think you're selling yourself a little bit short.
No, I'm just not. I just wish I see people that are really athletic.
You're like talking about natural ability.
Yeah, yes. It's like there's a lot of I just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna figure things out and see things. And it was funny. I had a martial arts studio when I was a kid, and literally my business partner at the time, he would learn something right away when they showed it to him. I'd have to go home and practice.
Yeah. Do you think that's why Jordan and Gretzky were, because they had what you have and natural ability?
There you go. Boom. That's these guys.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah.
This is these guys. These guys have both.
Yeah.
That's why there's so few that have both.
Yeah.
So few
if everyone had both, we'd all be Superman. But yeah.
Look at T.O.
Yeah.
T.O. on paper should have been the greatest of all time. There should have been no discussion ever. T.O. athletically, mentally, he was a mental midget. You understand? Like, he still ended up having a decent career.
Oh yeah,
but he should have been in the same category with Jordan and these other guys. But he's not, because mentally he was messed up.
It's so funny you bring that up. Yesterday, I talked about T.O. with someone, and it was like with San Fran, he had 8 years. There's 3 years there that it was like astronomical what he was doing.
Yes, but
and Jerry Rice was still there.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay.
How crazy is that?
I know. And so you look like, wow, that like his. And then even the first year in Philly, he was mind blowing, and it's still like, and in Dallas he was awesome. So but there was 3 years in San Francisco that he was like ridiculous good, Tyreek Hill level good.
Yes, and then what happened? He mentally.
Yeah, the game got to him. The politics, the business got to him.
Yeah, but you understand those things didn't get to Gretzky. They didn't get to Jordan.
Even when it should have got to Gretzky.
Yes.
It should have with the Pocklington thing.
They didn't get to Jack Nicklaus. They didn't get to these people. They didn't get to Tiger Woods. They didn't get to these people. These are these people here. And the rest of everybody else, there's tiers, okay? There's these tiers.
Absolutely.
These tiers. And unfortunately, we can go through a list of athletes that you went, you know what? You're right. That guy, Sergei Fedorov. Oh,
man, I love Fedorov.
But he's not in that. He's not with these guys. You know why he's not with these guys? Because he was a mental midget. There was always.
Man, I don't know. Like, I think Fedorov's case, like, that was a little different, though, because he came from a different country. He's one of the first to come from Russia. Mm-hmm. It was a whole different world for him to play in. And so you couldn't really break through that. But he was still incredible.
But I'm not saying he wasn't incredible, but he's not one of these guys. And I'm talking about to be one of these guys.
Is Yzerman one of those guys?
He's holding on like this on the ledge.
Lemieux?
On the ledge. Yes.
Lemieux is one of those guys.
Yes, he is one of those guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You can name all those guys, and I can tell you, like, Steph Curry is one of those guys now. He is one of those guys.
Yeah, he is one of those guys.
You go to hockey and you go, is McDavid one of those guys? He's not.
Not yet.
He's not. You know why? Because there's something probably mentally not right with this kid to take him and the rest of the team over the top. So that doesn't count. You go look, bro. Is
Crosby is.
1000% is. See, Jesse, we can play this game for the rest of the show, and you'll be like, oh, Pete Sampras was.
Yeah.
Roger Federer was. Nadal was.
Was Agassi?
No.
Yeah. See, it is interesting, isn't it?
No, he's like with Yzerman, hanging on the ledge, but he was also a little bit mentally.
Yeah.
He was like off to the side, and things bothered him that wouldn't bother other people. John McEnroe is like the guy,
and self-admittedly says that.
Yes, and I love John Mack.
Me too.
Johnny Mack's one of my ultimate favorites. I love him, and he's also one of those guys that's hanging on the thing at the top there. But mentally, he beat up himself, but he knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knows, and he says it did hurt him. It hurt his career.
Oh, of course it did, right? Yeah. But we found comedy in at the time. But now you see him walking the streets of New York in a long trench coat, looking all cool and stuff. And he, people stop him, and it's like, I listen to everything Johnny Mack says, and arguably he's probably one of the best tennis announcers in the world right now.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, so I mean, him and his brother Patrick, right? So this is what I'm talking about. There's a level of athlete that in every sport that when you dissect it, when you look at like MMA, Anderson Silva, he's one of those guys.
Absolutely.
George St. Pierre is one of those guys. That's John Jones is one of those guys. And these are the guys. But then you look at other guys like, no, that's not one of those guys. It's just, that's how it is, man. And you gotta, that's a different mentality. It's the mental, physicals, like you said, very few athletes have the two components.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Introducing Backscape, the superhero of back hair removal.
Hey there, I'm in Backscape World Headquarters. My name is Baxter Archibald Kingscape, spokesperson here at Backscape. And I know why you're here. Either you or someone you know has one hairy back, and you're trying to get rid of it.
We understand the struggle with unruly back hair. In fact, 77% of women agree it's not the ideal look. But don't worry, we're here to help you reach your smoothest potential. We've built Backscape to tame that wild back jungle in minutes. Our mission is to empower every man to feel his best, look his best, and help him reach his smoothest potential.
Backscape gives you the confidence whether you're at the pool, the beach, hey, anywhere you go. You can stay smooth all year long.
Our patented technology ensures the smoothest, most comfortable, and close shave every time.
We believe in something else here at Backscape, and that's how you feel about us. Our customer service is the best. Hey, even if you need relationship advice, our customer service agents are that good.
We're so confident that you'll love the Backscape experience that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try Backscape risk-free. When you choose Backscape, you're gaining a friend. We're here for you, guiding you on your smooth journey to a smoother, more confident you.
You know, being smooth in today's world is a commodity. I used to look like this, but after Backscape, you can see what you're dealing with.
You can maintain the highest quality grooming standards without having to break the bank, without having painful waxing, and without having to rely on someone else to do it for you. So ask yourself this: are you ready to get out of that back hair prison? Remember, at Backscape, we've got your back. Or rather, your smooth back.
My name is Baxter Archibald Kingscape, and on behalf of Backscape, we thank you. If you haven't joined the Backscape Brotherhood yet, why not?
Did you watch the UFC this weekend?
Did we watch the UFC this weekend?
Did you?
I did not personally watch it live.
Okay.
There's a
So
reason.
you watched after?
Yeah.
I just want to, I predicted that Colby Covington was going to lose the fight.
Yeah.
And then I loved how he went on social media and told everybody that he didn't take any damage. And then I put the video out on my social media. If you want to go to my social media, just go to @Mark Pavelich on everything. And yes, I'm plugging my social media. And you go to my Instagram account, and I put on the video of him with a smashed up face,
Yeah.
and ice bags attached to almost every part of his body because there was hematomas like on his legs, on his chest, on his side, on everywhere. And I put that video out to show what a bullshitter he is. And I'm getting so sick and tired of these kind of guys in the UFC.
Why? Why?
Because there's, you know what? I'm okay with trash talk, Jesse, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with trash talk, to getting this close to the line. But I still believe there is a line in trash talking.
Sure.
And you cannot cross
Well,
it.
what was the line?
When the line is when he said to Leon Edwards, when we get in the fight, we're going to visit your dad in hell and we're going to say hi. His dad died when he was 13 years old.
Yeah.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah.
Now, you want to talk about me, you want to talk about anything to do with me, fine. Talk about my wife and I will put a baseball bat over your head. Talk about my kids, I'll put a baseball bat over. I will. I don't care if we're sport fighting. That's when you take the martial art out of mixed martial arts right there. When you start talking about my family, I never thought when I was younger, I got in fights because before Martineau and I even had kids, when someone would make a derogatory comment about my wife,
Sure.
not a derogatory, they meant it as a complimentary thing, but it was a kind of like a goofy comment. I didn't take that very kindly.
Well, you can't say silly things about someone's family, I don't think.
And that's what I'm saying, Jesse. Like there is like, once again, we bring that up about the UFC and MMA in general, why there's not like an athlete's protocol,
Because
conduct
Dana
protocol.
doesn't. Look at Dana.
No, but that's what's going to happen now. Did you see even in the fight yesterday, like on the pay-per-view on the weekend, they literally had, Duplessis, the guy from South Africa, that's going to fight the imbecile. And literally they put them sitting next to each other. And of course,
Of course there's going to be a fight.
Yeah, and there was, And one thing that Dana White did do, he took full onus on how stupid he was because he made the seating chart and realized that he put these idiots like right behind each other. And it was just a matter of time. It was just
like,
a matter of
just like how McGregor in the bus
Yeah.
happened. It was whoops. Whoops,
Yeah.
we didn't
And
mean
then
for
same
that
with
to
Strickland.
happen.
You know when Strickland's sitting there and Duplessis sitting behind him, how long is that going to take before there's actually a fight going to break out? And you know the funny part is, Jesse, that's exactly what I thought when I saw Dana White apologizing, saying, "Oh, I must be the biggest idiot in the world doing this." But you'll see, leading up to fight, they'll use that footage to sell pay-per-views.
Of course.
Just like they did
It's
with
good content,
Conor McGregor.
dude.
I'm pretty sure that a UFC staff member let Conor in when he was going into the
100%, dude. They told him
parking
where to
garage.
be.
Yeah,
He's standing there with a chair, and the cameras, the
GPS
whole
location.
camera, multiple cameras are down there in the garage waiting for the bus up. Well, come on.
GPS location.
It was a WWE took over the broadcast that night, and they had it all set up.
Did a great job.
Down in the parkade.
The best job ever. There's cameras in
Yeah.
the bus. There's cameras outside the bus, and people are like, "Who's that? Who's that?" And it was fantastic, and it was very WWE-esque. But let's pretend like we don't know what's going on, but we're letting the fans know this is what's going on.
Absolutely, it is, and it sells. And you look across social media right now, everything that is like controversial like that, or something crazy happens, like a guy breaks up with his girlfriend on camera, and you're like, okay, this is all set up. Everything's set up, but people watch it because there's some sort of crazy thing that goes down, even though. And a lot of people are like, it doesn't matter if it's set up. They don't really. It's WWE.
See, that's what we're gonna do on the podcast now. We're gonna be like, oh, Mark Pavelich gets attacked.
Yeah.
He gets attacked.
Exactly.
It's like it's.
Well, it's true though. It's true.
Hopefully that looked better on the camera on your end than it does on mine. But it's. I thought I was out of frame here, so I was. Like,
I think you are. It worked. It worked good.
So the fist is coming in, right? But it's like that's what's going on in the world today in general with everything. And I just want people to realize, like, hey, when it does happen for real, appreciate it. When it doesn't,
yeah, that's true. And also too, like, it is one of those things that we talk about a lot. We talked about last week with Anthony Taylor. Like, there is a showman part of it. There is a entertainment value of things that still is taking place, and it's pivoted a lot. It's changed a lot in the last 20 years. I mean, it's changed immensely in the last 20 years. Before, social media was ever a thing. Now it is, and now you're not going to sit there for 3 hours and watch something. You need to watch something in 10 seconds. And how are you going to sell that next thing? Well, you need to have something entertaining for 10 seconds. That a fight in the middle of a crowd that's not supposed to be there, that's a good selling point.
it sure is. Like he literally asked the kid, he asked the kid to move, and the wife and the kid to move out of the way. He waited about a second or two when they moved out of the way. Then he jumped on Duplessis. So he literally moved them out of the way first and then jumped on top of them.
Yeah. Premeditated. We all know. I mean, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us know that, hey, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. But again, it's going to sell tickets. It's going to think, like, really, I mean, Strickland and plus, like, I don't care. But now I care a little more, Hey,
that's right. Yeah. You know, it's funny. You're actually right. Duplessis from South Africa, and a lot of people don't know who he is. People know who Strickland is because he's just one of the most foul human beings in the UFC. And so you were like, well, I don't know the other guy. Well, now you do know Duplessis because they got in a street fight in the middle of the last pay-per-view, and they actually showed it. They showed it, and they just didn't show it at the end. Joe Rogan goes, can we roll back that clip of Duplessis and Strickland fighting each other? And they did. Yeah. And I was like, oh,
dude, it's right out of the WWE. What do they do on every Monday Night Raw? Hey, don't, the end of the show, it blows up and like, WrestleMania this Saturday, don't miss it. Of course that's what they're doing. It's exactly the same thing. It's the business. Well,
they're partners now with the WWE, right? So they have. So they're giving them these kind of little tidbits of
Makes sense.
You guys can actually punch each other though. So when this is going on, you guys we fake it in our stuff, but you guys go ahead and rifle off on each other because this is your sport, and you guys will be super close. It'll get broken up really quick, but it's going to be real. That
Dana
part's going to be real.
Dana's in there breaking up the fight.
Yeah, it'll be real. It'll be real for real. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah. Well, lots going on in sports across the thing, but it's been a crazy year, obviously, with Jake Paul. Yeah. He fought
on the weekend. He fought a 10-1 boxing bum.
Yeah.
And he knocked him out with a Popeye uppercut, like a cartoon uppercut.
Yeah, wound up 3 times behind him.
It totally looked like that, and hit him with it and knocked him unconscious.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Unless they get some big names, I don't think he should fight anymore until there's big names again.
Yeah, but who is it now? Like, it's like he has to fight real people, and that's a problem. If he fights real people, it's a problem. If he stays in this lane, he's okay for a long period of time. But until then, he won't be. He won't be.
Well, no, you can't be. But yeah,
It had to be really low.
McGregor has to come in there or something.
Yes, I haven't checked the numbers yet, but the pay-per-view numbers of the Jake Paul thing this weekend, they have to be a record low. They have.
Yeah, they would have to be one of the lowest for sure.
Like ever. Because I didn't even watch it live. I literally turned on my Twitter and saw like him knocking him out. Like that was it.
Yeah. Well, let's say that this is our last show of 2023, and we'll be back in the new year. But I just want to say too that watching the games yesterday in NFL, man, the Bills are my dark horse now. They're my dark horse.
And the Cowboys look like the Cowboys.
Yeah. So if the Bills can get it rolling, look out. They've had some bad beats, man. They had some bad beats.
100%.
And they could easily be 2 wins the other way. And you look at that team, and the defense finally said, "Hey, no, we're good defense," and they finally stepped up and shut down the highest scoring offense this year. And then their offense is great, and then
Denver starts to get on this huge roll, and they get murdered.
Yeah,
the Lions look like they're ready to pack it in. And they had a great season, and then they're the ones that put the stink on them.
Yep.
Like the Lions just lit them up. So it's like you watch all these crazy things, and then you watch the Raiders, who have to be the most neurotic NFL football team in the world, when they go 0 points one week and then score record points the next week. And it's like, that's why I think the new coach for the Raiders, I think he's a keeper. I think he can motivate these guys to get to the next level. I don't know about the rest of it, but I think that's the case. And then you look at KC, who everybody's like, oh, they're 8-5. So now you got, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's even favored right now to win the Super Bowl? Nobody really knows.
The Niners, man. I think the Niners might
Baltimore looks good too, though.
Yeah, they're quietly doing it, but you're right.
Yeah,
and the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles played tonight against the Seahawks. Although it looks like Jalen Hurts might not be playing because he's sick.
Yeah, and then also too, don't forget they've lost their last 2 games, and they looked less than impressive the last 2 games, like really, really bad. So we'll see. I would love to see Seattle whoop on them tonight.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Although I do want to say that I want to go to an Eagles game in Philadelphia.
I couldn't step foot in with that. Literally the trashiest fan on the planet.
That's what I want to go. I'll wear an Eagles jersey too.
You're gonna what?
I'll wear an Eagles jersey.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
You wouldn't wear a Seattle jersey. You'll get murdered.
Yeah.
There's literally a jail cell inside the place.
Oh, dude, that place. I actually met someone from Philadelphia not too long ago, and they're like,
Great
"Do
city.
not wear another jersey. Do not. You will be physically hurt.
You'll be assaulted.
You will be assaulted."
You'll be assaulted.
And you like, man, that is awesome though. Like, I know, yeah, okay, yeah, they're thugs, but it's awesome
that it's still like that.
Yes,
like everywhere else in the world, it's not like that.
Not
anymore.
Like that. Maybe you go to England or something, or Spain.
Yeah. But if you come,
Euro football,
if Toronto's playing Edmonton, it's half the arena has Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys. If Montreal's playing Edmonton, they do, and no one does anything. There's no even shit talking. If you do that in Philly. If you walk in there with your Seattle green,
Blue, God forbid, like a Giants jersey or something.
George LaRock could not walk in with his Seattle jersey in Philadelphia without getting bombarded.
Yeah. Oh, there was a clip of the Bills when the Bills lost an OT to them, and a guy's wearing a Bills jersey, and the little kid walks up to him as it looks like he's going to shake his hand, and then stops and just flips him the bird. And you're like, oh, dude, like that. That's where you want to go watch a football.
But that's
game.
how that kid was taught.
He was taught
that from birth.
Yeah.
So he now will be like that forever. Did you see what's his name? Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
They asked him yesterday, if you had a choice to win, he directed a new movie, and they're saying that it has a possibility to get nominated for an Academy Award. And they asked him yesterday. I couldn't believe he said that. This is how you know Philly fans are just so demented.
Next level.
They said, Bradley Cooper, if you can win an Academy Award and your leading actress win the Academy Award, or the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, which one do you pick? Bro, he didn't even blink. He didn't even blink. He said Eagles winning the Super Bowl. That's it. He said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the girl that was in my movie. I'm sorry to the cast in my movie. I would pick the Eagles winning the Super Bowl over me winning an Academy Award. Do you understand how demented that is?
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I want to go. I want to go experience that. I want to go experience those guys and those fans being relentless.
Bro, as long as you're wearing an Eagles jersey, and listen, that's not true either. You can go on Instagram and you can go to the search bar and put it inside. You will also see Eagle fans fighting other Eagle fans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where there's always something. There's always something going on.
Hence the jail inside the arena that they have a jail for these bums that literally fight each other. And it's like, but chances are you won't. Chances are you'll be safe with an Eagles jersey on. And you better, and wait a second though, you better drag your jersey behind your car for a few weeks prior to going. Because if it looks too brand new, they will shit all over you.
Yeah. That's funny, actually.
Yeah, no, you got to put it in the wash and like maybe, 10, 20 times in the wash. And it's got to look a little bit, like there's got to be a little bit of ketchup and shit on it. And like, if you don't, they will smell you a mile away, those fans. Yeah. They're vicious, man. I have no interest. And listen, I'm scheduled to go to South Africa.
What?
Yes, this is true. South Africa, get excited. Get excited. Martineau and Mark Pavelich are coming to South Africa in October 2024.
Which place are you going?
Well, listen, I'm going to give you the lowdown. Right. I'm going to South Africa for 14 days.
Okay.
And with Dr. Rob, Dr. Osama, and we're going. And I've committed to them. They asked Martineau and I said yes, we'll come. And finally, I said yes, we'll come. And we're going to golf 5 days when we're there, and we're going to do the whole thing, and it's going to be awesome. And we're going to South Africa, but South Africa is different. There's monkeys running around and shit. There's it's like you got to be careful when you're there. But I'm going.
But where? To Cape Town? Is it Cape Town you're going?
Yeah, I'm going to Cape Town. I'm going to all these places. I don't even know the names of them all. I tweeted it the other day, told South Africa I'm coming, and then Welcome South Africa said, oh, we're so excited. I go, listen, your red carpet might not be red. It might be green, but roll it out when I get there, okay? Jesus. Roll it out.
Yeah, it's... I know. It's one of those things.
Have you been, Jesse, to South Africa?
Not to South Africa, no.
I'm going. So it's done. It's a done deal. I'm going to South Africa. I'm traveling more this year, next year, 2024, more than I usually ever travel. I'm scheduled to go to Montreal with my son and daughter-in-law in June.
Nice.
And then I'm going to South Africa in thing. And then our dear friend TJ Harstein he's his stag, and I'm the best man at the wedding.
Oh.
And that's in April in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Nice.
And then the wedding's August 30th in Vancouver. Cool. And that's Martineau's 60th birthday. I said 60. I said my wife is way too hot to be 60. So I told her that the other day. I'm like, you can't be 60. She goes, Mark, in 10 years I'll be 70. And I'm like, 70. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's true. It's like, it's crazy. My mom's birthday, 82, was yesterday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yes, yesterday, 82 years old. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, 82 years old. And I talked to her, and it's crazy time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I'm traveling. In the new year. I'm going to go purchase my new calendar for the year, probably this week sometime. And then I'm going to start writing stuff in again, and then the Lob Wedge Classic will probably be in July this year. July. And I purchased a 69-degree wedge. It's called the sexiest wedge in the world. You guys are getting a plug for me today. This is your only plug. And the snow is kind of melting in my backyard. And I think after the podcast, I'm gonna try to hit a few balls just to see how it flops. The 69 wedge.
Yeah. Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So this is my life, Jesse.
Yeah.
It's a good life. It's a good life.
Yeah. Well, we got the Seahawks tonight. Seahawks Eagles.
Which is exciting.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. The Seahawks, I can't see them being able to make the playoffs anymore, but it doesn't matter.
Are they playing in Seattle? They're playing in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
It's in Seattle.
Yeah.
Which the way Philadelphia's been playing, Seattle's got a legit chance to win.
Well, and if Hurts isn't in there too.
And Hurts is not playing.
Well, they're not sure yet.
Yeah, but he's sick
It's
though.
questionable.
So even if he's playing, he's not playing at 100%. So
Right,
that's
for sure.
that's good for you. That's good for you guys.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, but again, it's one of those things. Yeah, it was a crazy day in the NFL. I mean,
you
if you
can't
had your
win no
week-
money.
if you had your
You can't
week-
win no money. You can't win
Well,
no money
yeah.
anymore.
Week 1 in your fantasy pools, playoffs, and so fortunately I came out on top. And but if you had Cook from the Bills, oh my God,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Dalvin Cook's brother, and it's Dalvin
Yes,
Cook's brother.
yeah.
Just you could
That's
see
it.
like a smaller version. This guy,
Yeah, same
this
thing.
guy could be McCaffrey 2.0.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll see what this guy does. But he had a game of his life yesterday, and he's been good all season. But this guy could actually be special.
Definitely.
I do like him a lot.
Did we not? We also forgot. Was it not your son Jericho's birthday
Today.
Today.
It is today.
Jericho Martineau.
Yeah,
A very happy birthday. How old Jesse is he now?
15th birthday.
15th birthday. Wow, it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Took him out for lunch today, and so yeah,
You did?
I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
What does a 15-year-old kid get for his birthday?
What does he get for his birthday?
Yeah, what do you buy a 15-year-old kid in this day and age for his
I
birthday?
mean, now it's like, electronic something, a cell
Something,
phone or
something.
like
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever it is. It's as
What's the age limit for a phone in the Martineau family? What's the age limit? Like what number do you have to be to get a phone?
well, they get phones. They don't have a plan till they're 16.
The plan does not start at 16, but when do they get the phone?
Well, they've all had phones for a long, long time that just connect to Wi-Fi.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of the things that nowadays, like everyone has one. Every kid has one.
I know.
And it's just one of those things. It's weird, isn't it? Weird, like when we were back in the day and we had to pick up that whole rotary phone and dial your friend, and they screwed up on the last number, and you had to start.
Well, I know
all over again.
my goddaughters are 12, and I know they've had a cell phone since they've been 10.
Yeah.
And I think it's been the worst thing for them possible. Like
Really?
I'm positive of it. There's a side of people saying you can learn, you can do this, but when you're on TikTok 24 hours a day and at certain hours a night,
Yeah, they're not learning. Well, they are learning, just not what you want them to learn.
correct. And that's the problem. And like I said, parents do whatever you want. Like I'm never going to tell anybody what to do with your kids, but what do you think? What do you think the age group should be to be able to have a cell phone?
Man, it's a good question. Depends what's going on. I say if there's kids that have both parents that work all day and don't get home till later, and maybe you give one a phone to them because nobody has a home line anymore.
That's right.
So there's that part of it, and then when they drive, for us it was like when they drive, then
Yeah,
they get
that
one.
makes sense.
Yeah,
So, but Jericho, is he driving?
he's got his learners now. Just got that as well too.
Learners. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's not driving by himself.
No, you can't till you're 16.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, happy birthday, Jericho.
Yeah. Awesome.
What else is going on in the sports world?
Well, coming up, I mean, it's a break time. It's Christmas. Christmas is coming up. Someone was mentioning that, they said that, I have to bring this up because they were asking me because they saw the Christmas banner, on our YouTube channel. And I told them something that I'm going to stick to for the rest of my life. And as my parents put in front of their house, they keep Christ in Christmas, right?
Right.
And I told the person the same thing. I'm a big believer of Christmas, and like I've told people in the past, if you send me a card that says Xmas on it, I'll throw it in the garbage. I won't even read it. So this is how I am. And it's great. You always, for the last so many years, people always told me what they wanted to tell me. And they wanted to tell me about what they believed in. And they wanted to tell me all the bullshit that I had to listen to for the last, well, I got a New Year's resolution now for 2024. I'm not going to tell you what I believe in, but if you tell me what you believe in, you can bet I'm going to tell you now what I believe in. So you go first.
I think that's fair.
You go first. If you go first, so be it. But I'm never going to not say Christmas ever.
Yeah.
So here we are,
That's is what it is.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Phoenix Coyotes having a better record than the Edmonton Oilers?
I think it's bananas. You imagine how small their arena is. Do you understand like the Oil Kings and other teams like that, like in that hockey, WHL and stuff, get more fans than they do?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. The arena only holds what, 5,000
Yeah.
people.
Why are they still there? I mean, this is what.
Well,
I
the
don't get.
NHL's paying for it. Like,
Yeah.
so the rest of the teams pay for them to be in the NHL
Yeah,
still.
but there's places they could go today. They could go to Kansas City right now and sell the rest of the season.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why this is happening, because you're right. Kansas City would be, because if you remember, there was a Kansas City in the NHL before, many moons ago. Go check.
And they were trying to get a team when.
Yeah, but they would be huge right now. They would be huge right now in the NHL. You think about other cities too. Would Seattle be a great place for an NHL hockey team? Maybe, right?
Well, they got one.
Well, no, but I'm saying not sorry, excuse me. I'm talking in the southern states now. Sorry, I was confused.
Well, the southern states have tried that. They tried Atlanta twice. It failed
Well,
both times.
that's what I'm saying. But isn't it time now where you can kind of like pawn off the NHL team, NFL team to the NHL team and the
Where
NBA
would you go,
team?
though?
Yeah, but there is places now where that's how you can only make hockey bigger, in my opinion. Of course, with better TV deals and things like that. But what I'm saying is, when you have to cover all of it. Like they've done in football, pretty much. You have to cover it all.
Well, I think
You don't think Tennessee would be a great place for hockey? When you
they do. They have Nashville.
Yeah, but there's other locations.
Yes,
Like,
I just think Kansas City should get one because they've wanted one for a long time.
yeah,
I think that
which would work perfect.
I think it is. I think it is a smart place. Or you go somewhere. I don't know. In as much as I hate to say another Ontario team, but
And look at Florida.
Hamilton said that.
Look what Florida did, Jesse. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. You just got to go a few more steps the other way. You got Florida. How many teams you got in Florida now?
Tampa
right?
and Florida, yeah.
Yeah. You got two teams in Florida. It's the same thing with Tennessee. You could have two there too. I think in Texas you can have more than one team in Dallas.
Houston maybe.
You could definitely have a Houston team. 100% you could.
Yeah.
It's Texas. When we had Marty Turco on the show, he was talking about how big hockey's getting in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not just kind of start expanding into like double in the same city like they've done in football?
Yeah, I mean there is a possibility of that. I don't know why you keep like bleeding with the Coyotes like this. It hasn't worked.
No, I agree. But what Canada West, I don't think you can do anymore. You can't go to Hamilton. They've tried, kind of like talked about it, but it's just not.
Why can't you go back to Hamilton? Why can't you go to Hamilton? They have an arena too ready.
Yeah, but it's older now too, though. Like, so there's a lot to go into. It's just, I don't know. Just you can't. I don't see any other cities. Like, you got Vancouver, you got Edmonton, Calgary, you got what? Like a
Winnipeg.
Saskatchewan. Yeah, a Saskatchewan team maybe.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough there. Maybe.
Well, they would support it though. I know that for sure. That Saskatchewan would support it regardless. It wouldn't be the hippest team to play for, but I saw what happened when lacrosse went there, and it drew huge numbers. So an NHL team in Saskatoon or Regina would be big, and also with travel wise, perfect. So you know what I'm talking about, like travel wise.
That's why I think KC would be a spot.
Yeah, KC would be a great spot, and somewhere in Saskatchewan would be a good spot because Saskatchewan-wise, it's flying, right? So you're in the middle of Canada, not middle, but you're in the, you're in that case. You're like, here's Saskatchewan and here's KC, right? So you can fly like these directions and these it's a no-brainer. It's just, I don't know if they're an international airport though in Regina or in Saskatoon.
Yeah, that would be the thing too.
Yes,
that's why I don't know. Like I just don't understand why the Coyotes still have this thing going on. Although they are, 15-13 this year. They have a winning record.
Yeah, but doesn't matter though. Like that doesn't matter. Like the team winning doesn't matter. It's the lack of anything there. Like you're being supported by the rest of the NHL.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. And that's what I mean. Like, why are we still doing this? Why not put it somewhere that wanted it? Like case, they really wanted it. They were pissed Seattle got it over them.
Yeah, and same with Quebec City. I mean, they wanted it again.
Yeah, they did too.
They wanted it again. So I mean, there was a huge. Don't forget, man, that was a huge following for Quebec Nordique back in the day. Huge. Like,
yeah, it's interesting.
The rival, the Quebec Montreal rival was insane.
Oh yeah, that's great. And
we can't get enough of that in the NHL, in my
Right.
opinion. You can't produce enough of that rivalry. Like that's something that has to be done. Listen, when you can make hockey successful in Las Vegas, don't tell me you can't put another team in Tennessee, you can't put another team in Texas, or whatever the case may be. When you make it ultra successful in Las Vegas, and now Stanley Cup champions, you cannot tell me you could put hockey anywhere, technically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when it went to Vegas, I thought there's no way. And not alone that they went to Vegas, they are now. That's why the NFL went there. The NFL went there after the NHL.
Yep.
Now the NBA's coming. Now Major League Baseball's coming to Vegas because they all saw what the hockey did. And that's what they said. They said, "Holy shit! If hockey can go here, NBA basketball is going to go here. NFL football is killing it there.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. And NBA basketball. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, Vegas will be the spot to retire.
Yeah. Well, everybody, hey, we just want to take a second here and say thank you again for watching all 2023. And we appreciate all your support and love over the last, number of years, but 2023 as well. And thank you to all our guests that have been on this year, and always love talking to all you guys and athletes from sports all over the world. And of course, our sponsors. Awesome to have Crystal Glass and Backscape be sponsors on the podcast, and we thank you so much for, again, support over this year and in the past and in the future too.
Yeah, it really is. It's a special time of year. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and literally thank our dear sponsors, Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass, go to crystalglass.ca, and of course Backscape, go to backscape.com. And everybody, we will be ready next year, 2024. More guests, more excitement, and we can't thank you enough.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Until next time, that's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau, and we'll see you next year on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse.